He'll say he didn't, but there was some there. And we were saying, oh, can you imagine PSG with Mourinho, how defensive they might be? What's the difference?
No.
Why is Xhaka the only one of you giving Bayern any respect for the Champions League? This was on Friday. You said that Bayern were going to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
Why are you the only one?
I don't know why I'm the
Where do you stand on Bayern Munich's chances?
Good.
Ahead of Manchester City? Ahead of Barcelona?
Barca are not. They're getting results. You saw that game at the weekend, the Atleti game. They're not blowing teams away. But they're a good side.
Oh, I'm very glad to hear.
But you know, but what I'm saying is, they're not that side that are absolutely just killing you.
They're not Barcelona. They're just Barcelona.
Barcelona, definitely not Barcelona.
2011.
Yeah. Oh.
He was very aggressive saying that.
I'm waiting for this.
I reckon you could be a secret Speedo guy.
No.
Right, that brings us on to the question that apparently is the main talking point.
You've got that look about you.
Are you?
How does a Speedo's guy look?
Are you pro Speedo or anti Speedo?
Yeah, I want to know what does Speedo's guy look like.
Well, I'm looking at it. Yeah.
I've never worn a pair of Speedos in my life.
Backside, I bet you.
Never.
No way.
Never once.
When you're younger?
Never.
What about on your many fashion shoots?
Yeah.
What fashion shoots?
Oh, you've done a couple of them.
I've never
What
modeled
about
Speedos.
when you were doing that advertisement? The commercial?
Yeah.
For the alcoholic beverage?
Yeah. Did you do that in your Speedos? You could have done.
It wasn't called for. I wasn't going to just show up in my Speedos.
No.
Hey, have some of this.
It's wrong, isn't it? Have you watched Speedos?
No, but a lot of my Brazilian cousins wear Speedos.
You've got Brazilian cousins? Oh, you have?
Through marriage, yeah. And everyone wears Speedos.
So
So you feel like the weird one. You feel like some sort of weird
I can
prude.
see that, yeah.
Because you were just wearing,
So you're guilty by association.
It feels a bit weird.
So you've got a pair of Speedos?
No, I've never worn Speedos. Because
Well, you have a pair of
I always
Speedos.
go and wearing...
Surely they gave you Speedos for Christmas.
I go wearing like the British trunks.
Craig is quite clearly a closet Speedos guy.
I would definitely wear them, I think.
Would you?
Yeah, if I was in that environment where everyone else was wearing them.
I mean,
I wouldn't.
so, let me get this right. Somebody jumps off a cliff, you jump off too.
If they're wearing Speedos.
If they're wearing Speedos.
So if you went down to Brazil, where the other half of your family come from, your in-laws and all that, and they were wearing Speedos on Copacabana Beach, you'd be like, that's the one for me.
I wouldn't feel as intimidated as I would if I went out with you to a beach. We went to a beach together. Where did we go? Santa Monica.
Yeah, didn't think much of us, did you?
Speedos coming to the...
I didn't see anyone in Speedos. No, it was a bit of a letdown, wasn't it?
We had this argument with our producer about Santa Monica Beach.
Yeah.
We didn't think it was all that, unless we went to the wrong place.
It was just the company.
I know, it was horrible.
That was it. Julien, Arsene Wenger. What else do we have to say about him?
I don't know. I mean, 4 defeats in a row for the first time since 2002, and yet he still says he's still the best man for the job. He comes out with those incredible excuses of like, you put your trousers first and then your shirt and then your coat and your jacket, but you're not sure what... I mean, like, this is something like, I don't know, even like a TV series couldn't catch up and capture like the essence of this season for Arsenal. This is something that goes beyond anything we've seen before. Arsenal Football Club, but probably in English football history. This is like something else. It really is.
Arsene, you've just been beaten by Brighton. You're in a horrible... Yes, if you have your trousers on, you can take them off. But if you're naked, you have to... What the hell is he talking about? I mean, this guy, he's bulletproof. I mean, in some sense, I'm jealous. Because how's he doing it? How the hell is he doing it?
Why does he want to stay? This can't be fun. Where's the fun in this? Why? You don't need the money, you don't need the prestige. Why?
He still thinks in his mind, and if you read between the lines and what he says in between the ridiculous quotes that Julian just talked about, he still believes around the corner he's going to sign the next player and the next defender, the next midfielder, the next striker that's going to turn the light switch back on from. He still believes that. No one else does. He does.
But I don't understand it. On the one hand...
The trousers analogy.
Well, I don't understand that either. But on the one hand, as much as you're admitting, listen, this is our worst run in my tenure as coach, I'm the right man. You know, when you're in a hole, you got to stop digging. And at some point, more concerning for me is you have the likes of Petr Cech coming out now and taking responsibility for the defeat. So now all of a sudden, we've kind of got used to managers taking that pressure off from players.
Yeah.
At Arsenal Football Club, the reverse is now true. The players are now taking the responsibility away from the manager. On the back of the story that came out midweek about an alleged meeting with the players and their call for or concern about lack of leadership, it really is painting a really bleak picture for Arsenal Football Club. I felt let Arsenal see out this season and then change him in the summer. But given what we've seen over the last 7 days, he's got to. Bet he goes no.
But I think that's the way it's looking. If you read between the lines, is that it's looking as if it's all going to crumble for him in the summer. But the other side of the coin is, if they somehow pull off a Europa League win and bounce into the Champions League next year via that, and that looks a long shot at the moment, but if that happens, that's going to be the worst thing, one of the worst things for this club in terms of the future, because that's going to convince him and potentially the board, and probably the board, that he's going to go for another year, maybe another 2 years.
Julian, we know if you're anyone in football, you've courted Arsene Wenger. You wanted to get him at your club on Real Madrid on 2 or 3 occasions, wanted him there. There's talk of the England job, international jobs. What has this year done to his stock regarding where he will go next?
Well, I think he's done a lot of damage to the reputation. Obviously, he keeps saying that he turned down the whole world to stay at Arsenal and to respect his contract. That's his line anyway. That's the line he's been giving us for the last 10 years, or maybe more 5 years. But I'm just not sure what's next for him. And I think that's the heart of the problem, is that he's scared of what's coming next. And that's why he doesn't want to let go. You said it, it's not about money, it's not about the prestige, because it can't be fun. This can't be fun. And I really think that he's scared of what's coming next, whether he will find himself with nothing at all, which is very possible, because who would come and hire him? Maybe some club in China, I'm not even sure. Maybe a national team, I'm not really sure that's what he wants, because this is a completely different job. And he's getting 70, he will be 70 very soon now. And at 70, if you've been doing something for the last 50 years and suddenly that's not there anymore, well, you're completely lost. And I really think that he's scared of that. But the damage is done already about his reputation and what he could do next. And that's why he thinks that the best for him is to stay. And I really believe it, that in his mind he still thinks that he's the right man for this job and that he's going to stay to honour his contract and stay next year in the last year of his current contract.
I've got a spare set of golf clubs in the garage. You know, I've always got a spare set.
Well, yes, because you buy lots on eBay. Tell us all about
They're not on eBay yet, but if Wenger wants them, I'll do him a cheap deal. Right? Take a holiday, get your Speedos on.
I can't play golf with you. Why have you got to play golf with your Speedos?
I'm not saying, what is wrong? I'm just generations wear Speedos, some of them. Not me. Relax, chill out. Arsene Wenger.
You don't wear Speedos.
No, clearly not. Arsene Wenger, what's wrong with these managers? Chill out, go on the beach, play golf. I mean, it's you know, at that time of your life.
Why not just sack him? Why can't the board see what everyone else sees?
Because the board haven't got the stomach to do it. That's right. Because he has made them money. He has made the club money when they haven't had great success of recent year.
We are back. It's Monday. It's Craig Burley, so it can only be Player Power Rankings, his favorite segment on a Monday. Craig, let's start off, of course, on this side. Edin Dzeko tops the list. 2 goals against Napoli. Big win.
Yeah, all the talk of him leaving in January, but to Chelsea didn't happen. Out of the title race, obviously Roma, but really a big say in the title race, because that's really thrown it back Juventus' way. So that was a huge performance from Edin Dzeko and a huge performance for Roma. I didn't see that coming as emphatic as it did. Great free kick from Lionel Messi.
He's back in it. Wasn't
a great game, the Barca Athletic game. I thought it was a bit flat, but they've put the title to rest.
His 600th career goal, though. Do you think that could have made him go higher than Dzeko or not?
Well, I think just on an individual performance now, Dzeko probably deserves it, but 600 goals it's just phenomenal stuff for the wee man. But should we be surprised?
No. Dybala scoring again, Son scoring again.
You know, this guy, when he first came in and out of the team, playing more regular now. Big Champions League games coming up. He's so flexible. He works so hard. Good end product to his game. Again, terrific performance. Not the toughest of opponents, I understand that. Tweeted out yesterday about David Silva, which did upset some United fans who called me a Man City fanboy. You can't enjoy somebody like David Silva, who's one of the longest standing players in the current regime at Manchester City. Rarely see him in the newspaper, rarely see him getting in trouble with officials, but always an 8 or 9 out of 10 minimum in terms of performance. Absolutely terrific little player. And again at the weekend, first class.
Now he rounds off the top 5 because he had 1 assist in that game. And I guess it is top opposition with Chelsea. But Cristiano Ronaldo, granted we know the opposition there against Granada, 2 goals. Don't you think that should get him in over 1 assist?
Well, yeah, but here's what people do. Some of them that have got a brain, they watch the game. And sometimes goals can happen in 10 seconds. There's 90 minutes in the game. And so sometimes other things happen that some people don't see because they love reading stats and that's all they know. You know who you are. You tweet me all the time. So that's probably why he's there, because it's just a generalisation. You can argue about it all you want. Ronaldo's, after a slow start to the season, obviously he's a goal machine. We know that.
Glenn Murray, look away, Arsenal fans. He has made it into our player power ranking.
Well, he made me laugh actually because he had one chance in the second half where somebody put the ball over the top and he was 10 yards clear of the Arsenal defence. And he was so slow, even they caught him. So he actually turned back. He could see Peter Cech and he went, He says, so he's not quick, never has been, but has led the line really well. A huge win for Brighton, putting them closer to safety than they ever were, and obviously another nail in the coffin. I say nail in the coffin for Arsene Wenger because he keeps kicking the coffin lid up and he isn't going anywhere. But yeah, Glenn Murray in here, Brighton Hove Albion, we don't see that too often.
That's true, indeed. Thanks so much to Chris.
Was that a bad analogy?
That was a hilarious analogy, actually, but we're going to end it there. Not much argument here.
Don't close that lid.
What a shocker. Wenger is not ready to go.
I ain't dead yet.
Can't fight the man.
Next year will be better.
To Craig. For more of this, keep it here at ESPNFC.com. Craig Burley joining me as we're going to have a 2-for-1 and let him sound off on the 2 London clubs, Arsenal and Chelsea, because you weren't here on Sunday.
I'm kinda out of voice a little bit.
His voice a little down.
Talking about Arsenal.
But you're never short of words. So let's start about Arsenal. Stumped to their 4th straight defeat in all competitions, and Arsene Wenger, always interesting with what he has to say. He said this: yes, it's the first time it happens in my whole career, I must say, and it's not easy, but I have enough experience and enough desire to turn things around. We have to stick together. We have no other solution. Craig.
Copy and pasted from 2017, copy and pasted from 2016, 2015. He also said something that was bizarre in the press conference. He started talking about wearing only a pair of trousers.
Yes.
It's easy to take the trousers off, but when you're naked, it's just, I'm not even going to go there.
Put them all back on.
What the hell is he talking about? I mean, this guy must think he's bulletproof. He must be. There must be something going on at Arsenal behind the scenes. Because it's quite incredible, the scant regard he seems to have for results and what other teams are doing, and you've been away for a little bit working, I know, but you may have noticed in that period, Arsenal are not very good.
No, I left and Arsenal were poor. I came back and Arsenal are still poor. They're worse now.
So I don't know what to say that we've already said, apart from they are still in the Europa League. They've got a big couple of games against AC Milan, but they've been woeful. I mean, absolutely woeful, from management to players to board. I don't know what I'm going to do this week. I can't talk about them this week on the show because I think we've just run out of things to say about them. It's time for a change, but unfortunately there's a guy that's taking the team who every month, every week, every year seems to think he can turn that around. And then when we get down that path next year, it's the same old thing.
Well, I'm assuming he means that he can win the Europa League. We'll see if that indeed does happen. But let's move on to Chelsea now. Let's move on to Chelsea now, because that game against Manchester City, Antonio Conte came under a lot of criticism, basically for his tactics and why they went out so defensively. We know that Manchester City causes teams to do that, Craig, but not one shot on target. What did you make of it?
I thought they were abysmal, absolutely abysmal. Do you know, this is current Premier League champions. Inconsistent or not, current Premier League champions taking on a team that effectively have already won the league, right? And could be switching off a little bit. Could be. I'm not saying they are. Could be. You've got. I think it's something like it was a 5-point gap to the top 4 going into the game. So you know you need to get on the offensive. He leaves the 2 strikers out again, same as he did against Barcelona, and they didn't have a shot on target. I mean, it's bizarre. Almost like he's playing into the hands of Roman Abramovich and saying, just get rid of me. And I heard, and by the way, he will get rid of him. It'll happen sooner rather than later, but Chelsea fans, and we're talking about Chelsea, will have to suffer kind of what they're looking at in the meantime. Some people were bringing up a point, which was in a very tragic weekend with the death of the Fiorentina skipper. And it was tragic, absolutely. Was that, and maybe, you know, Conte was subdued in the touchline, I understand that. But some people were saying, well, you know, it was a tough, and it was a tough weekend, I'm sure, for everybody who knew that gentleman. But that did not affect the way he set up his team. It did not affect the way of his team selection. It may have affected his demeanour on the side and he wasn't as demonstrative, but it didn't affect how Chelsea played and it didn't affect how he set up the team. So there were those looking for excuses for him, and I don't really think, as tragic as the weekend was back in Italy, that there was any excuses for what happened at the Etihad.
All right, thanks so much, Craig Burley. Opposite ends of the spectrum there in London, as it seems like one manager has already given up and the other refuses to. PSG have their work cut out for them in the Champions League as they're hoping to bounce back in the second leg against Real Madrid. They're trailing 3-1. And based on their social media, Craig, they believe they can do it. They seem to be rallying all the troops, including the 12th man. Can you make a case for PSG to bounce back? Because we know Real Madrid love this competition.
Yeah, no, absolutely they do.
And so does Ronaldo.
He does. And it's normally a platform for the big players to turn up. We've been talking about this in the show as well for quite a while, and there is an argument for PSG to come back. Absolutely, 2-0 sees them through. Is it doable without Neymar? Absolutely, 100% is it doable. Are they going to do it? I don't know. That's the million-dollar question. All the Real Madrid fanboys are all jumping on us whenever we do the show, the usual nonsense. I'm sticking with PSG because I think there is a fallibility about Real Madrid, not so much in this competition, but I think recently, well, this season anyway, I know recent's been a bit better, and I know they can score goals.
They seem to have given up on La Liga already, so this is where they're keeping it.
They give up on La Liga after about 2 months.
That's true.
So, yes, all their eggs are in this basket.
Yeah.
But this is a PSG side who dominated the midfield in the first game. If Rabiot and Verratti in particular can do that again, if Mbappe and Cavani get the service, if it is Di Maria that comes in for Neymar, they're good enough to hurt this team because this defence isn't great. They've got their own injury worries as well.
Yeah.
So there is a way back for PSG, but if they're as profligate as they were in the Bernabeu, it won't happen for them. But if they're sharp and on the game, I think they can go through. I really can't think they can put a mark down. Now we're going to find out whether they're the real deal or whether or not they're all mouth and no trousers, and Unai Emery will be looking for a new job, because if they don't win, that's what happens.
Can I get a prediction out of you?
Yeah.
Just flat 2-0? Well,
I'm going to go PSG to go through.
All right.
I don't know what the score's going to be. Mystic Meg, my crystal ball.
Your little crystal ball. It won't see the scores. Okay, so we won't ask you for lots of numbers anytime soon. Thanks so much to Craig Burley. He's picking PSG to go through. We'll see exactly what happens when it all boils down in Paris. Manchester United's young star Scott McTominay has been making waves, and now he has chosen to play for Craig Burley's country, Scotland, over England. Of course, his father is Scottish. Craig, there's a lot of people excited about this youngster. He started in Manchester United's last 3 games, and I know we saw you tweeting, and you said, talk to you in another 2-3 years about him. But people are excited. That? Of course, I'm always watching you tweet. People are excited about him now. Why do you think so?
Well, I think... What, in Manchester or Scotland?
Well, both. Just how it can
I
translate
think it's
over
always
to
exciting
Scotland.
when a new kid comes on the block. Maybe, I don't know, we're going to say less so for Manchester United, more so for Scotland. I don't know. Certainly from a national point of view, we're a national team that needs all the quality we can get. As some sharp tools pointed out, he might just like having some summers off. And so
I saw that
he's chosen Scotland to go on holiday in the summer. I don't know. Look, he's flavour of the month at the moment because he's done well, because Pogba has had whatever problems he's had, because there's been some injuries. He's had some game time. He's filled a role for Mourinho. He, I believe, it was an emotional decision to choose Scotland, I believe, but I think also a sensible decision if he wants playing time. Playing for England, of course, is going to be a lot more difficult because the pool of players to pick from is a lot bigger. But then the success of going to tournaments might be greater. Players have to weigh that up. I never had that problem because, you know, Scottish, and that was it. I didn't have an option. Seems these days everyone's got an option. So I think it's, you know, it's a wise decision in his mind. From Scotland's perspective, in the short term, doesn't change a lot because one player doesn't, you know, we've seen Lionel Messi can't drag Argentina to winning the World Cup. So if he can't do it, how's somebody going to drag Scotland along? So he's one part of a jigsaw, but as I say, go back to that tweet that I put out yesterday, and I wasn't being negative about it, but I've seen so many.
It is early days.
I've seen so many, even when